Now let me start from here. Closed path integral of v bar dot dl bar, okay, that's equal to surface integral of del cross v dot d. Am I right? Now let me see the same theorem in a ulta way. Now for a given closed path, there are infinitely many surfaces, isn't it? You can have infinitely many surfaces for a given closed path, am I right? So your hemispherical bowl or pot shaped or balloon shaped, whatever, am I right? You can have infinite, or plane itself. Suppose if it is circular loop, okay, plane itself, that's also surface, am I right? So for a given closed path in a space, you can have infinitely many surfaces. Okay, if I write like this, what is this surface? Are you getting my point? If I go from here to here, it's very clear. For a given surface, there will be only one closed path. We have taken all conventions, how to take those things, isn't it? Now let me start in this way. For a given closed path, any shape, you have infinitely many surfaces whose boundary, all of those surfaces will have the same boundary line, isn't it? Now, which one you choose? Is that okay? Earlier we had not this kind of question, right? One volume, one surface, in case of Gauss theorem, isn't it? Now, for a given closed path, so you can take any surface, this is true. But you have to follow that convention, right hand thumb rule. Is that okay? So now, what do you mean by that one? I mean, this theorem is true for any surface for a given boundary line. What do you mean by that one? The surface integral is independent of the surface chosen. I told there will be one special class of vector field whose surface integral will be independent of the surface chosen, and curl of any vector field is that special class of vector field. Wait a second. So again, if I see the theorem in a reverse way, so for a given path, you can generate infinitely many surfaces. Is that okay? So, and this can be any one of those surfaces. So, what do you mean by that one? For all of such surfaces whose boundary line is same. Is that okay? So, this surface integral is same. That means surface integral is independent of surface chosen. It depends on the boundary. Is that okay? So, can you write a couple of sentences? Integral of del dot del cross v dot d. Write yes here. Or don't write yes. Just open surface integral. Okay. Depends only on the boundary line. Depends only on the boundary line. And not on particular surface chosen. I mean, the question comes, I mean, we can take any surface means, am I right? The question comes on which it depends on, isn't it? You can take any arbitrary surface means, the question comes, I mean, so how, so on which factor it depends on? It depends on this part. For a given path, take any surface whose boundary is this path. So this theorem is true. Are you getting my point? Suppose if you take a circular one. So take a plane of the circle itself. That's also okay. So take a hemispherical bowl whose what you call boundary is this one. That's also okay. Take any shaped surface whose boundary is that one. So then this surface integral is same for this surface, and that planar surface. Is that okay? So it is independent of the surface chosen. It depends only on the boundary line of the surface. So that is the first statement, first observation. So next one, once look at here, you can just say, you can just see this one. If I make this one as closed surface integral, what would happen? This is an open surface integral. You can define the path. Am I right? If you make it as a closed surface integral, what would happen? There will be no closed path. Am I right? There will be no boundary. That's why this part will be 0. Is that okay? Second part of the statement is closed surface integral of any surface again, any surface should be equal to 0. For any closed surface, write like that. For any closed surface. So write down in your way, closed surface will not have any boundary. It was a relation to surface integral to the some path integral, where that path was boundary line of the surface. Now you have closed surface which doesn't have any boundary. That's why that path integral would be 0. Or if you just say, if you want, suppose I have a balloon here. Is that okay? I have a balloon here. I'm going to shrink that mouth of the balloon to 0. Then that becomes closed surface. Now it is open surface. It is open here. Now I'm going to shrink that mouth to 0. Then what would happen? That becomes closed surface. Then what is that path? That path also shrinks to 0. Am I right? You can take that angle. When this path shrinks to 0, when this boundary line shrink to 0, this becomes closed surface, isn't it? You can take balloon idea. So just so tie this one. Then this mouth will shrink to 0. Then that becomes closed surface. Now it is not closed surface. You have a boundary line of the surface. Total surface, you have the boundary line. Is that okay? Once you make that one shrinks to 0, this path integral shrinks to 0. Path itself shrinks to 0. Is that okay? So that this part will be 0 for a closed surface. You can argue like that. Okay? Write down, closed surface will not have any boundary. Isn't it? Again, we are going to use this one in electrodynamics chapter, okay? The whole story. That's why you better to keep on, seeing these theorems again and again. So what we do in case of Maxwell correction or something, we are going to take one path integral. So path integral will be one side. So in other side, what would happen is you may take one is planar. Isn't it? You are going to take path integral. In other side, you can take planar surface, but it will be independent of the surface chosen. Isn't it? Usually it will be, so if I take the particular one, what is that? Faraday law. What is Faraday law? Del cross E is equal to minus dou B by dou T. Am I right? We are going to take surface integral of this one, okay, dou B by dou T dot dA, like that, okay. Remember, the whole story is this one, this vector calculus, okay. That's why 100% understanding is needed here. So this one, we are going to convert that one into line integral. This is nothing but our EMF, okay, line integral of the electric field. This again by Stokes theorem. Now this surface should be same because we are doing the surface integral. You have one vector field, other vector field. You are doing the surface integral. This surface should be same. Now this surface integral, I am going to convert that one into path integral. Am I right? So now once you convert this one into path integral, now path integral and surface integral are connected by your Stokes theorem. Am I right? Now what is this surface? This is any surface whose boundary is this path. And in Maxwell correction, we are going to take two different surfaces and we are going to do something with that. Is that okay? And this should be true for any surface, remember. Again, so what is that one? What is that property? That is a property of magnetic field actually. Magnetic field is a special class of vector field whose surface integral is independent of the surface field. So you can take dou by dou t outside, or you can take it as d by dt, isn't it? Minus d by dt of surface integral of b bar dot dA bar. Okay, we shall study this one. Now look at here, it is independent of the surface means, depends only on the boundary line of the surface. Independent of the surface chosen means magnetic surface integral of the magnetic field is independent of the surface actually. Again, that's special class of vector field. Is that okay? Those again, we have to apply this one, this whole story, okay? Over. Once you define a path, you can have infinitely many surfaces. All of those surfaces will have the same boundary, which is that path. And along all of those surfaces, surface integral of curl of any vector field is same. Okay, so that's why surface integral of curl of a vector field depends only on the boundary line, not on the particular surface field. Okay, just have a hold on this one. Now quickly we shall solve this one. Now what they can design question, any idea? So they will design this one. Okay, they'll give one lengthy closed line integral. That will take time because we need to divide those line integral into different parts. Am I right? Now, if you take curl and if you do surface integral, that would be one step answer. So, shall we do one example quickly? V is equal to 2xz plus 3y square y cap plus 4yz square z cap. You have to do this one. Once you do this one, all of those notations will be there in your mind. And because here it is you should follow some sign convention. Am I right? X cap, y cap, z cap. Look at here how it works. So take a square shaped surface, okay, which is on zy plane. Length and breadth are 1 and 1. Okay. Now he said verify Stokes theorem of this vector field. Okay, for this surface. Now what should we better to do first? Line integral. Okay, but we have to feel that one how difficult it is. Then we have to go for surface integral. That will be very easy. First we shall choose line integral. I better choose like this so that my dA vector will be along x cap. Okay, that's again our choice. You can choose ulta also. So now let me choose my line integral like this. Okay, closed line integral, boundary line of this surface. You can take any surface. Okay, but to prove that one, we should not take any lengthy surface whose boundary is this path. Am I right? What is the easiest surface whose boundary is this path? That is the plane itself, isn't it? That's how we take usually. While finding, we should not end up with any trouble. Is that okay? Surface integral should be easy. So that's why easiest surface for any closed path in a plane is plane itself, isn't it? Again, that closed path need not be in a plane. Okay, closed path may deviate from the plane, but most of the case it will be on the plane. Our closed path will be on the plane. Okay, that's why we will show that Stokes theorem for a planar surface whose closed path is also in the same plane. Okay, now look at here. So just let me divide first one, second one, third one, fourth one. Okay, first one. Again, anyway, I have to write v dot dl. You better write down that one because that is needed throughout that one, isn't it? V dot dl, that is needed. What is this one? I think dl vector. How do you write dl vector? Dx x cap plus dy y cap plus dz z cap. I hope you remember only two dimension. That becomes 2xz plus 3y square into y cap dot y cap dy plus 4y z square multiplied with z cap dot z cap dz. That is your v bar dot dl bar. Okay, this is your v bar dot dl bar. Now wait a second. Throughout your line integral, x is 0. Am I right? You can put x equal to 0. Look at here. You are moving in a yz plane, isn't it? X equal to 0. That's why throughout your line integral, you can put x equal to 0. So that's why I can just do it like this. Am I right? So 3y square dy plus 4yz square dz. Am I right? So along first path, z equal to 0, dz equal to 0. Am I right? Along first path, z equal to 0, dz equal to 0. Y will run from 0 to 1. Y will run from 0 to 1. 3y square dy plus z is equal to 0. Y cube by 3, that's 1. Check it out. You better write in the diagram itself, isn't it? What would happen in that path? What is the second path? In the second path, y equal to 1, dy equal to 0. Y is not changing, but x is changing from 0 to 1. Sorry. Z is changing from 0 to 1. That's why second path, y equal to 1, 3 into 1, dy equal to 0, plus 4y equal to 1, z square dz. Z is running from 0 to 1. What is this one? Z cube by 3, that's equal to 4 by 3. Check it out. 4 by 3. Do it yourself. You have to define variables on each path. That's it. Carefully. It's done. Third one. Integral from, remember, z equal to 1, dz equal to 0. Z equal to 1, dz equal to 0. Y is running from 1 to 0. Don't forget, okay? Don't write 0 to 1. 1 to 0 because your path is from here to here, not here to here, okay? Be careful. That does matter, am I right? This path integral will be different from this path integral, isn't it? So that's why 1 to 0, z equal to 1, anyway, dz equal to 0, this part equal to 0, 3y square dy. Minus 1, check it up, y cube by 3, 0 to 1, upper limit, minus lower limit, minus 1, check it out. Fourth path, y equal to 0, dy equal to 0. If y equal to 0, this whole part is 0, am I right? Line integral is 0. In the fourth path, that's equal to 0. What's the combination? What's the answer? Total closed line integral of v bar dot dl bar, adding all of these, 4 by 3. This is the path. This is the closed path. Okay. Now look at here. It took some time. Am I right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 different steps. Then adding that one. Now what is the next one? Take a curl of the vector field. Again, curl of the vector field may take some time, but not much. Okay. Finding curl. X cap, y cap, z cap. Dou by dou x. Dou by dou y. dou by dou z. What is x cap? 2xz plus 3y square. Sorry, x cap coordinate is x cap component is 0. Only y cap and z cap. What is this one? 2xz plus 3y square, 4yz square. Am I right? Just do that one. X cap into dou by dou y. Dou by dou y, that means 4yz square minus 2x dou by dou z minus y cap into dou by dou x 0 plus z cap into, do it yourself, 2z. 4yz square minus 2x x cap plus 2z z cap, that is curl. Check it out whether I am right or wrong. Okay, y derivative with respect to y, am I right? Yeah, 4z square. Again, here he defined very random question, okay, to show that one. But in exam, sometimes they will define in such a way that curl will be very simple vector field, okay, or surface integral will be very simple. So that you have to use Stokes theorem. You have to explore the Stokes theorem to make the problem easy. But be careful about dA vector. Now, what is dA vector? If you have taken your again, you can take any surface, okay? It is independent of the surface, remember. But planar surface is the easiest one. We are going to show the Stokes theorem for plane itself. So, again, in that plane, what is dA vector? Why it is along x cap? Why not minus x cap? Because that plane have got two perpendicular, isn't it? Why only x cap? Because so of our right hand thumb rule, okay? If our line integral runs like this, then our thumb should fix the direction of dA vector. Now let me do that one. X cap dot product with x cap, am I right? So surface integral of, this is the surface, okay? This is my surface. Del cross V dot dA, that's equal to, what is this one? X cap dot x cap, z cap dot x cap equal to 0, 4z square minus 2x into dy dz. Y will run from 0 to 1, x will run from, z will run from 0 to 1. Am I right? Square and cube is very easy to take the limit, remember, okay? So 0 to 1, can I take it like this? But what is x over there in that plane? 0, x equal to 0. That's why 0 to 1, x equal to 0, 0 to 1, 4z square dy. Obviously, that is 4z square will come out and integral 0 to 1 dy equal to 1, isn't it? So dz. So 4 will be outside. Integral 0 to 1 z square dz. What is this one? Check it out. Now, there is one very good question here. Okay. What if surface have got two different boundary lines, just like a cylindrical surface which is open in the both sides. Suppose a PVC pipe cut down in the both ends. Then how to apply this theorem? I think you better to see Sham series book, okay? Because we will never have that kind of application here. Yeah, I think somewhere he has given Sham's outline. I think the author name is Spiegel. Let me share that one. Vector analysis like this. Yeah, so very good question. I don't know how to apply this one to that kind of surface. Okay, are you getting my point? Suppose I have a cylinder like this. Now what will you do? I think somewhere we had less physical interpretation. That is the problem, isn't it? I've just taken a mathematical part here. Just read out his interpretation. Okay, you may get some idea how to choose the surface. What would you feel? You have to take both the path integral. Both in the same direction. Yeah, we have to be careful. Yeah, let me think of it. Yeah, speak up. Isn't it? So now they will design question like this. They will give lengthy path integral, so that you have to avoid that path integral. You have to find surface integral. Okay. Sometimes they may ask closed. Yeah. Now look at here. Now look at here. Let me just extend this one. Remember, just list out all of these again. Read again and again and again. Okay. Stokes theorem, Gauss theorem, and properties. Now, what is the property? So this vector field is independent of the surface chosen for a given boundary line. That is the property. Those things should be there in your mind. You have to apply, you have to use this whole vector calculus, just like how you do subtraction and addition. Is that okay? You have to use whole vector calculus like this, then it will be very easy. Okay. Now do problem number 1.34. Triangular region. Okay, let me do it in the evening. Okay. So surface integral should be done very carefully. Look at here. Here, what is your surface integral? 0 to 1, 0 to 1. Am I right? Now he has given surface like this. If you run x, y from 0 to 1, z from 0 to 1, it will cover a square region, remember, not triangular region. For triangular region, what will you do? No, I mean, you will have a functionality. It's not just finding the area, remember, isn't it? So your that scalar, that will take different value in different regions, remember. It's not half of the square. Are you getting my idea? Whatever the scalar you have, that is depending on z. Look at here. In different region of this space, you will have different values. So you have to take the limit properly. Is that okay? So now you should think how it runs actually. So if you take one line here, that line will shrink and it will add up triangle. Isn't it? Like that you have to think. Just try that one, okay? Just try that one. This is similar to that, what you call, prism shaped volume integral. Just try to do that one. Let me explain in the evening. 1.34 and you can do 1.35 also. 34 and 35th problem in the first chapter, okay? And he has given one more integral. I hope we have already done that one. That's okay. And then he will go for different coordinate system. Now look at here. Yeah, we better to close it here, okay? Wait a second. Again, let me write that Stokes theorem. Del cross V dot dA, that's equal to closed path integral of, am I right? So now I have a special class of vector field whose curl vanishes always. What is the best example? Electrostatic field. Null vector. I have a special class of vector field whose curl vanishes. Then look at here, its closed path integral will be 0 always. Any closed path you take, you can generate a surface whose boundary is that closed path. Am I right? When you take this part of the theorem, since curl is 0, that will be 0. Is that okay? Whenever we have this situation, whenever curl of a vector field is 0, the very next thing is closed path integral of that vector field equal to 0. Scalar equal to 0. the very next thing is, we have to show this one, we have to argue this one. If closed path integral is equal to 0, then path integral is independent of the path chosen. It depends only on, we had a reverse of that one, do you remember? When path integral was independent of the path, depends only on the boundary line, closed path integral was 0. Am I right? But the next one, a to b, v bar dot dl bar is independent of path from a to b and depends only on the endpoint. Are you getting my point? These are one-to-one consequences. Now here to here, you need some argument, okay? Here to here, it's very easy, am I right? If it is independent of the path from A to B, it depends only on the endpoint. Make those endpoints same. And we have seen that was first theorem, am I right? So from here to here, it is very easy. But here to here, it takes some effort. Just try to explain how that can happen. When closed path integral is equal to 0, how open path integral is independent of the path. Little difficult to argue. And there are theorems like that. Okay? In vector calculus, if you see again any mathematics book, they will define a theorem. Okay? These two are one-to-one consequences. Over. Now, when that would happen, when this will be independent of the path, look at here, when that vector field can be written as some gradient of scalar field, isn't it? So so our first theorem was, we had a gradient of a scalar here, do you remember? So when that vector field is equal to gradient of some scalar, this will be always true. That's why we think in a reverse way. Whenever this happens, we can write that vector field as a gradient of scalar. That is our potential formalism. In our electrostatic, that is our potential formalism. Okay, it all from this one. It all from this one. Now look at here. By seeing this one, can I write V is equal to some del of t? Isn't it? Because so only then this would be independent of the path chosen, isn't it? That was our first theorem. Now I'll go back and I'm going to connect these two. Whenever curl is 0, I'm going to say vector field can be written as gradient of scalar. Is that okay? That is our potential formalism, but we place one more negative sign, E equal to minus del V. Those are other consequences, okay? We shall study that. Over? Yeah, just solve all of this exercise. And along with that one, I think I had given one very easy question. I mean, questions usually in TIFR, BARC as well as GATE exam. You have to see the question in one particular way. That will be very easy. Okay? I had given one cone. Do you remember? Whose base have got surface area A. So this is your area vector. Now this is the electric field. Electric field I have taken E naught into some z cap like that, am I right? And I have taken this one as 30 degree. And what I asked is, suppose that is an ice cream cone. What is the flux through that curved surface area? What is the magnitude, suppose? Because whenever you have open surface, you got two choice, isn't it? Whatever magnitude. Now you have again electric, there is no charge in the region. If there is no charge, can I apply my Gauss law? E bar dot dA bar, that's equal to 0. The main mistake that you do is you will think here itself. What is this one actually? Total flux through the closed surface area. Am I right? Now let me take closed surface area, curved surface along with this planar surface. So that is the net flux. Can I say net flux or total flux? Total flux through the closed surface. That's equal to 0 because there are no charges. Why it is 0? Electric fields are piercing from one side. It is going from other side, isn't it? Electric fields, they are going into that region from one side. There is no net outward flux at all, isn't it? Only when that imbalances, you will get net flux, remember. So that's why there is no charge inside. There is no source inside. That's why it is equal to 0. Or you can just use your Gauss theorem. So don't try to do any surface integral. Okay, he has given this area. What is this area? Pi a square. This is pi a square into some n cap. Am I right? Area vector. Area vector equal to pi a square into n cap. This is your electric field direction, isn't it? Now look at here. This total flux should be equal to 0. Am I right? Total flux including curved surface area and planar surface area equal to 0. Write that total flux as, so pi curved plus pi planar. This is the flux through curved surface area plus flux through planar surface area, isn't it? It is 0, isn't it? It is 0. If you write this one and if you just think, then you will get this one. Why? Again, you can split. You can total flux. There's a scalar. You can add like a scalar, isn't it? Scalars are added like this. Now, so phi curved is equal to minus phi planar. Is that okay? So, whenever you take this total surface integral, you have to take your area vector outward from the region, remember. So, then obviously, so this planar area, it will make area vector, it will make acute angle. This flux will be positive. This flux will be negative. You can see this. Am I right? Look at here. What is that phi planar? Electric field dot area vector. Electric field is E naught into Z cap. What is area vector? Phi a square into n cap. What is the angle between them? 30 degree. Angle between them is 30 degree. E naught phi a square cos 30 degrees root 3 by 2. Root 3 by 2. Obviously, it is positive. Look at here. Why it is positive? Because if you take area vector outward from the region, am I right? So then here also you have to take area vector like this. Then it is making acute angle with the electric field. Obviously, you have to get positive one. So that's why phi curved equal to minus of E naught pi a square root 3 by 2. Okay, think over it. Okay, think over it, how to apply, how to make use of Gauss law. Okay, again, I have asked some more question. Again, now you have to read whatever the comment he has written in the beginning of the Gauss law, okay, in Griffiths. Just read each and every sentence very carefully. I have given one more question. Take a kind of ice cream cone. So put a charge Q here. What is the net flux through the surface? Am I right? Now what will you do? Now let me give the idea here. Try to solve one more question. You have to again, to apply Gauss law, you need closure surface, isn't it? To apply Gauss law, you need closure surface. So now, so take a closure surface so that our surface of interest is a symmetric part of that closure surface, isn't it? You can take in any way logically, but take the closure surface in such a way that our surface of interest is a symmetric part of this closure surface. Now, don't you feel that this surface and this surface will, contribute same flux, or I mean, they will have same flux, isn't it? So that is the idea. And the same idea in case of the one more question. One charge is at the one of the corner of the cube. What is the flux through that one? What is the flux through edge? Am I right? Keeping the charge at the middle, so generate one symmetric surface so that our surface of interest through which that we are trying to calculate the flux, there should be symmetric part of the total surface so that we can divide. Now look at here, total flux equal to total flux What is this one? Q by epsilon naught. What is the flux through this one? Half of this one. This is total. Am I right? So this flux, this should be equal to half of pi total. Isn't it? Don't you feel like that? There's a symmetry. Isn't it? This should contribute, this should have taken half of the flux. This should have taken half of the flux. That's why that's equal to half of Q by epsilon naught. That's it. This is how you have to apply Gauss law. And so extend the same idea to that cube and one charge at one of the corner, and that is asked many times. Okay? So you have to take a lot of other cubes so that that charge should be at the center of some symmetric surface, and your surface of interest should be symmetric part of that one. Okay? The same thing is, I have taken one hemispherical bowl, am I right? With the Q here, am I right? So take one more, extend this one. Extend the surface so that your surface of interest is symmetric part of total surface. Apply Gauss law to the total surface. Now this is half of that one, am I right? This will take half of the total flux. That's why again Q by 2 epsilon. Isn't it? Flux through this lower surface, this should be Q by 2 epsilon. Okay? So try to do that one. First read out Griffiths carefully. Okay? So his comment carefully and then try to apply your logic. Okay? Yeah, we better to close it here. Yeah, speak up.